tous fiers d'être Camerounais.
Bienvenue à Came10 Télévision. Came10 TV, c'est une panoplie de programmes animés par une jeune et dynamique équipe de présentateurs et de techniciens.
From the bottom of our hearts, very sorry for the last start, but due to some technical faults beyond our control, we begin right away with what makes headlines. In Betua, East region of Cameroon, 2 gangs of armed robbers specialized in the theft of pickups, motorbikes and cell phones have been arrested and presented at the Betua Judicial Police Station. A magazine containing more than 50 tons of tobacco worth 650 million CFA francs have been consumed by white flames. These products pending exportation to Europe due to the deadly coronavirus pandemics were completely razed to dust. The Prime Minister, head of government, Chief Dr. John Gute, has handed the national flag to the athletes that will be representing Cameroon at the upcoming Olympic Games in Tokyo. The flag was handed over to them this morning in Yaoundé. More of this in some minutes to come. You're welcome back. Once more, we are very sorry for the last start. We begin right away where the prices of Semencam products, despite rumors that have been circulating that the prices have increased, are just a fake. Came10 Television took interest in this and visited the divisional delegate of Brigade in Control of Repression in a bid to get the right version of what is actually taking place on the ground. Let's listen to details in the following report. Cement are referred to as a product of first choice. The Minister of Commerce, Luc Magloire Mbargatangana, in a letter addressed to the Director General of Semencam, calling them to order in relation to rumors on the frequent increase of cement prices in their various shops. The Minister of Commerce warns and says it is a sign of deviance and provocation if they are going against the law.
What we need to understand from what the Minister of Trade said in the letter to the General Manager of Semencam is that cement will remain and will always be the product of first choice. And the ministry in charge of fixing prices in the market is still remain the Ministry of Trade. So there is no increased prices in the market concerning cement.
Prices have not changed, though vary from one region to another in the country. In case of increase or artificial prices added to Semencam bags of cement, those concerned will face the wrath of the law.
Prices of cement is still the same. The real price is 4,850. That's the real price, Semencam. We can see that the problem now is Semencam because we don't have problem with Dangote and the other type of cement.
This comes as a reminder to consumers and retailers to be vigilant and very careful while carrying out cement transactions. None is above the law. The Minister of Commerce has promised to seal Semencam shops throughout the national territory if he discovers they are selling above the recommended homologated prices. We now talk agriculture, where the Cameroon agricultural sector, referred to as the country's pillar stone, has been undergoing a structural transformation. The transformation process that started in 2020 will end in 2030. Ruth Fonyo has details in the following report.
Culture contributes to the development of the production of wealth and growth by promoting cultural tourism, vector of a significant flow of international tourists, but also of job promotion. One of the immediate results on a practical level is the project of organizing an artistic and cultural village, which is currently in the implementation phase. It has two sites, one dedicated to the accompaniment, the supervision of leaders and members of various specific groups in artistic, cultural and production creation, located at the Convention Center of Yaoundé. The other dedicated to the promotion of artistic and cultural activities is located at the esplanade of the National Museum or galleries, places of mutualization, experience. Artists will not currently be under construction. It is also necessary to underline the efforts of artists and artistic pools, of which these dairy initiatives for the sensitization and the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. We can quote preventive and lucrative formulas of COVID-19 through traditional medicines, individual and collective production efforts for the manufacture of local face masks, awareness-raising actions in local languages, collection and archiving of data on the disease, the establishment of a committee to assess the impact of the COVID-19 on the cultural sector, and the development of digital services. Despite the cancellation of cultural events, the suspension of professional contracts, and the prevention of artists to organize concerts, which artists say concerts are a key source of livelihood. But the pandemic has rendered most of them jobless. Accordingly, revenue has drastically reduced, and most of them say they now live from hand to mouth. The government, in the National Development Strategies of 2020-2030, migrates the arts and culture sector to that of industries and services. Stakeholders of the state domain have, however, looked on measures to improve on the well-being of Cameroonian artists badly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The arts and culture subsector will now be one of the vectors of wealth creation and growth in employment.
We now talk culture, where the Angara Yangzal Ongola Trade Fair have exhibited, that is an appellation in the Central region, have exhibited their rich cultural values at the Regional Center Museum here in Yaoundé. Let's move over to the Yaoundé Center Museum in a bid to appreciate their rich cultural values. Ruth Fonyon once more.
Living together is one of the most celebrated, this time by the regional organization of the arts and culture of the Center region, the Angaraya Za Ongola Fair, a local appellation which opens the door to the region from the center to the esplanade of the Regional Museum of Yaoundé, with the exhibition menu sale, pharmaceutical and traditional medicines. Let's discover and consume the rich heritage of Cameroon. What could be more pleasant than drinking a good glass of matango, a natural drink from the Central region, or baobab, ginger, kosam, local specialties from Adamawa in the far north region of Cameroon. I have come to exhibit this tasty palm wine, which is natural palm wine. It is not decomposed like it's usually the case in quarters. With this palm wine, it is for weddings and bride price. It is accompanied with kola nut. Kola nut is naturally natural for us from Bafia. If there is palm wine with no kola nut, then it is useless. I am from the far north. When we talk of the far north, we talk of North, Adamawa, Banue, and all drinks, because we have a lot of them in the far north. Cameroonian culture is very varied due to the diversity of its ethnic groups and its history, which brings various culinary influences.
La sauce folérée et la sauce gombo.
The folere and okra soup, and it's accompanied with meat because all our meals are accompanied with meat. And we have cooked fufu rice because we eat a lot of fufu in the north. We have plates for 500, 700 and 1,000 francs. Pharmaceutical and traditional medicines are not left out. They are also presented to the public as healing plants which provide solutions to all pathologies. The fair Ongola Yadza Ongola, a space decorated with dry green leaves, reminds us of the landscape and the green nature of our villages.
C'est faire la promotion de notre patrimoine culturel du Cameroun à travers toutes ces expositions.
Promoting our cultural patrimony of Cameroon through all the exhibitions, notably cookery art of the 4 cultural zones, African, pharmaceutical, divinity art, and traditional costume, which as arts through our art, we can develop ourselves because we not only need to feed ourselves but heal it too. Our traditional meals also have therapeutic values.
Il faut nourrir le corps, mais également il faut le guérir parce que nos mets traditionnels ont également des valeurs thérapeutiques.
Traditional outfits and musical instruments have become today's formal outfits used during traditional events. Beyond this aspect, the arts and culture sector is a generator of the country's economy through craftsmanship and the creation of decent jobs.
Garages in Cameroon are undergoing a modernization process. Garage and car owners have resorted to buying high quality and modern parts for their cars so as to avoid constant visitation to garages in a bid to arrange their cars. Geraldine Nasi has more in the following report.
If not, because of 20,000 francs, you can spend 2 million or you go to jail. So we take more time for diagnostic than repairs here.
Cameroon's auto garage are modernizing with the evolution of technology recently, as manual cars have given way to the automatic vehicles with their innovation. There are many changes in this trade that have positively influenced the quality of services provided in this auto garage through its high quality equipment of the latest generation.
You see all these modern cars, if you don't have the equipment, don't temper to touch them because they are just like computer. Just like plane, you know, when a plane make an accident, it must tell you what happened before the accident. So that's how these new cars they are. When there are problems, you must need a computer to put on it, then tell exactly what is bad.
Many youths, however, have engaged themselves in this trade, most especially those in the technical section of education who come to practice and perfect their skills in the mechanical domain, though it is a trade for every youth who has the willingness to learn.
Before I opened my training center, it was just because I discovered that most children that goes to this technical school, they don't do the practice. So most of them have only the degree, but they don't have the know-how, the practical know-how. So I decided to open this training center, Group NCY Motors Training Center, to train them for practical and also theory, because there are others that did not go to technical school, but that do general education, that want to be technicians. We also recruit them, and they're really doing the best. They're really doing, and I'm happy that maybe after me, there were many Cameroonians that will do better than me, because they are really up to.
Nevertheless, mechanics in Cameroon are moving towards modernization alongside Cameroon.
We now go over to Beta, where 2 gangs specialized in the theft of vehicles, cell phones and motorbikes have been arrested and presented at the Judicial Police in Beta. After thorough investigations, it was discovered that after stealing these items, they are being transferred to Yaoundé and the Central African Republic for them to be sold. Ruth Fonyong tells us more in the following report.
The Eastern Judicial Police Division has caught 2 gangs of bandits. The first specialized in the theft of motorcycles, the poaching of homes with armed hands, variety of cell phones, the manufacture of counterfeit money. It is through the exploitation of the name Amadou Abdoulaye, gang leader, that the forces of law and order were able to get the stolen bike.
You can see the important articles we got from them. Cell phones, a variety of them, household items, fake banknotes. I want to precise here that it's a gang which is specialized in sending stolen motorbikes to Yaoundé and the Central African Republic. They gave us some information and investigations are still going on.
The second gang is specialized in the theft of vehicles like the Peacock, which carries fake immatriculation information. The vehicle and its driver were arrested at the entrance of the city of Bétoua. Citizens are supposed to be vigilant and collaborative.
It is an opportunity for me to tell the citizens to be very, very, very vigilant. And I'm calling the population to systematically collaborate with the police and other security forces. We are here to guarantee them of our availability and to make them to know that their goods and properties are of priority.
It is to be noted that this is not the first time that such criminal act is being caught.
We discovered that there is a lot of criminal cases in the town, that of assassination especially. The last the most recent was that of a bike rider who was mercilessly killed in town and his bike was taken away. Our doors are open. It's true that there are some cases of theft and aggression in town, but our doors are open.
This is a call for Bétoua city dwellers and Cameroonians as a whole to be on alert for anything can happen and at any time.
We now move over to our sports page, where the government of Cameroon has handed over the national flag to the athletes that will be representing the national color at the Olympics Games that will be taking place in Tokyo. The flag was handed over by the Minister of the Head of Government, Chief Dr. John Gute, in Yaoundé. We have more of this report with Tabi Clarkson.
Prime Minister Joseph John Ngute this morning at the Cameroon's National Olympic and Sports Committee in Yaoundé bid farewell to the delegation of athletes to represent the national colors in the upcoming Olympic Games in Tokyo. Handing over the national flag to an athlete is a sign to say the government and the people of Cameroon are behind the athlete, and of course their expectations are very, very much high.
I am happy for this qualification. I know everything will be easy, but I am a lion, so I am happy for everything, and I hope everything will be okay there. Thank you for everything too.
Cameroon will be represented in the Olympic Games by 12 athletes in 7 disciplines, and there is hope for a medal.
Many boxers are qualified there, and work hard. We prepare ourselves by external camp, but during a few days we are in internal camp, and I think that if our boxers had the level of performance that they had in Senegal, Dakar, during the qualification, we have a bit of chance to have a medal there, but I don't know the color.
This year's Olympic Games in Tokyo will run from the 23rd of July to the 8th of August. And by the time the competition ends, we want to believe that Cameroon will be coming back home with some medals.
We now move out of the country, where Sudan protesters are calling on the government to resign after harsh economic reforms. And in Central Africa, rebels have launched a deadly attack on the Central African Army. This and more with Ruth Fonyong in an international roundup.
Hundreds of Sudanese protesters took to the streets of major cities on Wednesday to demand the government's resignation over IMF-backed economic reforms seen as too harsh. The protest erupted a day after the International Monetary Fund approved a $2.5 billion loan and debt relief deal that will see Sudan's external debt reduced by some $50 billion. The dozens who had gathered in Khartoum burnt tires and brandished banners that read, "Bread for the poor," before they were dispersed by police who fired tear gas. Ahead of the protest, Sudanese authorities said they arrested 79 people suspected of links to Bashir's regime for allegedly planning violence. Wednesday demonstrations coincide with the anniversary of an Islamist-backed military coup which brought Bashir to power more than 30 years ago. In Central African Republic, rebels launched deadly attacks on army positions. Rebels killed 7 people in coordinated attacks on army positions in the east of the Central African Republic, the UN peacekeeping force in the conflict-ridden country. The Fighters of the Unity for Peace in Central Africa, UPC rebel group, mounted simultaneous attack on army checkpoints and camps in the eastern city of Alidoa, Muniska. Spokesman Abdulaziz Fall told AFP, adding that the clashes left 7 dead. Since then, the army, backed by UN peacekeepers, Rwanda Special Forces and Russian paramilitaries, had wrested much of the territory from rebel control. The Central African Republic on Wednesday dismissed as slanderous allegations by UN experts who said government troops and Russian military personnel had committed rights abuses. Chinese President Xi Jinping has given an hour-long televised address from Tiananmen Square to mark the centenary of the creation of China Communist Party. Xi hailed the new world created by the country's people as he warns foreign forces that those attempting to bully the nation will get their heads bashed. We spoke to China specialist Antoine Bondazi from the Paris-based Foundation for Strategic Research. He told us that the Chinese Communist Party now controls the lives of more than 1 billion people.
Dear viewers, that report brings us to the end of our English Prime News. Here are the headlines. In Betwa, East region of Cameroon, two gangs of armed robbers specialized in the theft of pickups, motorbikes and cell phones have been arrested and presented at the Betwa Judicial Police Station. A magazine containing more than 55 tons of tobacco worth 650 million francs CFA have been consumed by white flames. These products pending exportation to Europe due to the deadly coronavirus pandemic were completely razed to dust. The Prime Minister, head of government, Chief Dr. John Gute, has handed the national flag to the athletes that will be representing Cameroon at the upcoming Olympic Games in Tokyo. The flag was handed over this morning in Yaoundé. Thanks for being there. Stay tuned in the company of our programs of Camdis Television. Have a wonderful evening.
Mesdames, bonsoir, messieurs, bonsoir. Toutes nos excuses pour ce retard observé dans le démarrage de votre émission ce soir, forcément dû à des